Hello and welcome to this episode of Self-Made. I'm your host, Dee Brown, CEO. Joining me on the show today is the founder and president of IAA Private Wealth Advisors. Please help me welcome Stan Leconte to Self-Made. Stan, happy to have you on the show, brother.
Pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Man, you have a very impressive resume, but I really want to take my viewers on this journey to see how you got to where you are. So let's set the stage by starting at your childhood, and you let me know, where did you grow up and what your childhood was like?
All right. Well, D, man, I grew up in Queens, New York. To say specifically, I grew up in Queens Village, New York, right?
Okay.
I'm very proud of that. First, I was born in Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, so like most of our Caribbean heritage individuals were born in Brooklyn, right? And then we migrate to other places in the city. I wound up spending, majority of my life in Queens.
Okay.
Right? And that was a great upbringing, man. We used to do everything, play football, go on journeys, and we had a camaraderie, a nice little tight group of individuals.
Yeah.
And each one of us have found some prominence out there, but I would say, I went to a private school, Saints Joker and Nan, from kindergarten to 8th grade, in the hood, right in the middle of the hood. So I had to wear a uniform, and I had to travel back and forth, walk, 10 blocks plus into the hood to get to my school, and then after school, I'd have to walk back through the hood to get home. So I would say in that private school, everything was great, but once we got out those doors, it was real.
Different world.
Something you had to really deal with. So we take the uniforms off and try to assimilate with everyone else so we wouldn't get in too much trouble.
Right. So what kind of challenges or obstacles did you face as a child growing up in that environment?
Oh, very, very well. Very good question. Well, the fact that I come from a Caribbean background and, our parents, their culture, awesome culture. They give you great things, but it's not assimilated to what's going on currently, right? So you're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit, right? So you're talking to your friends and you're trying to be cool or just, be in a place where you're accepted. Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't work out, man, because you're just not there yet. So you have to learn a lot heuristically, right? Yeah. By fire. So those are the type of challenges I had to go through, being Caribbean background and not assimilating to, the way of that particular culture.
So what, did you grow up in a single family household or both parents, or what was that like?
Both parents.
Both parents.
Very fortunate to have both my mom and dad who sacrificed everything, man. Marlene and Leon Leconte did a great job with my sister and I. They put us through private school from the very beginning all the way up to 8th grade. Very challenging task for them with modest earnings. Were able to sacrifice that and make that happen.
How did that education help you?
To this day, the discipline and the fact that, you were held accountable. Very small class sizes, so you would get able to get the details that you needed on a one-on-one basis, and that helps me out to today. I'm what you call a slow bloomer, or a late bloomer, right? So it didn't catch on right away, but I got it eventually. All those teachings finally came in later on at some point where I was like, oh, that's what they were trying to do. Right. That's what they were trying to teach me. So
it gave you a solid foundation.
Absolutely.
What about high school? What was high school like?
High school was a whole different world. So story here, I wanted to play football. We all played football, right? So we have, people from Andrew Jackson High School, from Bayside High School, from Holy Cross High School, and I wanted to play football. I was just one of those guys, very athletic, and my parents wouldn't allow me.
Really?
They was, no, you're not playing football. We don't know what that is. You're not going to come back with any broken bones or anything like that. Yeah. No. So I had to, on my own, register myself, play a little bit of football, and by the time they figured it out, I was already on the team.
Right? So what was the reaction once they figured out you were on the team?
They was like, well, you're good enough to make the team, just, make sure you do well on your schoolwork, right? So one of the big things about the Caribbean and most African Americans, do good at school, man.
Right.
That's all. Just do good at school and stay out of trouble, and those are the two things that you had to deal with. Right. So as long as I followed those rules, I was okay.
Okay, so you graduate from high school, and so take me on your journey from there.
All right, so high school was very challenging. Let me take it back a little bit, man. So I went to school with some really good people, right? Some people that we know today, prominent people, right? Yeah. So in that little small school in Hollis, Queens, I went to school with Steve Stout. I went to school with Irv Lorenzo, or Irv Gotti, as they like to call him, right? And, you know, around that area was the FUBU individuals, those guys, you know, so we're all in that same little niche of going to school. And, you know, I get to high school, and they always say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? They always ask you, right? I said an accountant from day one. I didn't want to be a doctor, engineer. I didn't want to be a lawyer, any of that. I said accountant, and they'd leave me alone, and I go about my business. So when I get to Bayside, one of the things that they were very good was their business school, right, in accounting. So it kind of fit the mold. I actually went there to play football, but actually got an accounting background at the end of it, right? So I played football for 4 years, very good at that, and had a chance to go play college football at a lower level, smaller level in North Carolina, and kind of left New York early. Right after I graduated, I was on a plane to North Carolina to play football.
Wow. So how did your parents, your upbringing, how did that play a part in who you are today?
Very good. So, you know, my mom is a very prideful individual. She's taken, you know, she would take her time to make sure that I get the lessons. She put me into various things that were not football, right? So, you know, she put me into piano, she put me into guitar, just trying to get me cultured. She would take me to, you know, different places on vacations. I've been to Europe a number of times as a child, so she tried to culture me at a very young age. So that, you know, that within itself helped me to be the person I am today. Just making my parents just really put a lot of hard work with us.
Understood. So you go to college, you play football, and how do you start your professional career? Where do you go first?
Right. So I stayed my stint in North Carolina, the Bible Belt, from New York. My just didn't work out. You know, just the Bible Belt, fresh out of New York, I didn't assimilate very well, and you know, before I know it, it was time to leave. So my parents, in that transition, you know, they kind of stayed back because they wanted to move to Florida all along. They kind of stayed back and let me finish my senior year and to play football because those were my aspirations, and they sacrificed that. And as soon as I was done, they moved to Florida. And once they moved and I had no other direction to go, I kind of went with my parents and enrolled into junior college and got some credits and transferred over to Florida International University, which is further south in Miami. And from there, I got my degrees. But in between that time, I met a lovely lady, had 2 kids, my daughter Brittany and my daughter Cheyenne in that time, and kind of derailed the timing of it, right? So I didn't get my bachelor's degree till I was 33 years old.
Well, you know, hey, that happens. So it's important that you finish it. So how did you get into wealth management? Because that's you know, an area that you don't see. You know, it's not an abundant number of African Americans in that space.
No, absolutely. Very, very true statement. So, you know, got my accounting degree, started working in a comprehensive mental health facility as an accountant, doing accounting work, not as CPA, but doing an accountant work. And like I said, you know, I grew up with some really great people, and as I'm doing my professional career, I'm watching these individuals do amazing things with their lives, and I'm like, Stan, you're missing something. You're just as talented, or you should be doing greater things because you all grew up and assimilated together. You all have the same drive, the same goals, the same heart, and the same zeal, and you're missing something, right?
Right.
So went back to school and got my finance degree, and within that process, one of my professors said, you should go for the Certified Financial Planner designation. I took that course, and within that course, one of the branch managers at a Fortune 200 company was there, took a liking to me, told me to come into their facility, and I got hired as a financial advisor. Right? Didn't know what a hubcap from a mutual fund was at that particular time, and went through their training program. And I would say the first year out, I was a fast-track individual. I had the most plans or accounts in the first year than any other individual in that particular region. So I was a fast-tracked individual.
So, you know, obviously financial planning and retirement planning and financial literacy is a big deal in the African American community, especially because, you know, oftentimes that knowledge and those resources are unavailable to our people. So in your particular position, how are you using your role to help communities of color or underserved individuals?
Yeah, so I've been doing this throughout my career, giving back. So the community has been very good to me, you know, and accepting me and allowing me to flourish within my position as a wealth manager. So I go back out into different catchment areas and I do financial literacy education, which has been, you know, very heavy to my heart. I do it to, you know, the inner cities of Miami and Fort Lauderdale and, you know, whichever school would allow me to come and speak to them. But giving back financial literacy is a big deal to me at this particular time. I have a curriculum that I've created from all the years. I have a program out that I do specifically for the kids. And then for the high school kids, I have a program, again, to go through what they would need to be successful once they get to the NFL. Okay. Gotcha. So I think that's important because I do see a lot of different opportunities for them with they're just missing it, right? They don't have, like I said, we grew up with not all the guidance that we needed, right? And financial literacy is one of those things that if you're not taught, no one's going to teach you. Right.
So what do you find most rewarding about your occupation, your career?
Yeah, well, you know, it's the ability to be where I wanted to be in the beginning, right? Started off wanting to pursue my athletic career. I got into the music business at some point within that time frame. Was successful in that area as well. And wealth management allows me to bring it back full circle to still be of value to these individuals, but on the financial side. So I could work with NFL and NBA players and entertainers and every walk of life and still be part of that you know, region, but on the wealth management side.
Right. So tell my viewers what inspired you to open your own firm, but also tell us more about your company.
Sure. So when I started off, I was on a fast track. I was promoted, I would say, every other year to a position where I would be, you know, teaching or guiding some other advisors that maybe more my age, double my age, right? Teaching them and being successful at it. And I was given a role as the associate branch manager, which is a big deal. There's very few of us in the financial services anyway, and to be given that leadership role was amazing. So I did that for 10 years, and I was I had an opportunity to work with some really high net worth individuals, and I couldn't service them at the firm that I was. So I decided to go independent. So I am an independent advisor. I work under a brokerage firm called International Assets Advisory and International Assets Advisory Management. Okay. They are my broker-dealer, so I work independently of them, and my company is called IAA Private Wealth Advisors. So I formed that company 5 years ago. We are independent in the independent space, and we service high net worth individuals with their asset management, tax planning, and making sure that they're making the best decisions moving forward.
Right. So tell me your philosophy on generational wealth, because obviously being in the financial management business, coming from Queens, you know that there's obviously a significant wealth gap here in America. So what's your philosophy there? And
I want to speak to everyone that I can, right? I want to put my arms around everyone and give them the knowledge that I have here. I have so much knowledge to give them. I believe one of the reasons they don't take advantage of the things that are available to them is because they don't have the information. They don't know where to seek the information. And I want to be that resource where they can be a one-stop shop and say, hey, I want to do this advanced tax planning. How do I do it? Who do I need to speak to? And I can be that person to be the quarterback and make sure that all those steps get done in an efficient manner to make sure that they're okay. Now, as you mentioned about generational wealth, I mean, generational wealth to me is very, very important. And our people kind of miss it a little bit simply because, you know, they don't believe in life insurance. Some don't believe in planning.
Yeah.
And again, most of us learn heuristically, which is trial by fire, right?
Yeah.
So we try a few things, it doesn't work, then we go the other way that it does work, but that can cost you time and a lot of opportunity.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And when you delay financial planning and sound financial management, that's something where the timing could be generational and not necessarily a matter of months or years. So
no, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. The longer you wait, you know, the time value of money erodes and opportunities erode as well.
Who has inspired you or mentored you to help you get to where you are today?
Well, that's a very good question. So I have a lot of great mentors. You know, a lot being in my fraternity. Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated.
Greatest fraternity in the world.
Greatest fraternity in the world, right? But I use a lot of, you know, the individuals in my neighborhood, you know, Damon John, Fubu, Keith Perrin, James Alexander. Those guys are doing it at a high level. I haven't gotten there yet, but my zeal, my fire won't stop.
Right.
Won't stop. Diddy moves.
So you mentioned that you are a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and of course, oftentimes people hear about fraternities and sororities, and they think about, you know, colleges and the Greek life, etc. But talk about Kappa Alpha Psi and what role it plays in your life and the type of work that's been done in the community with this the great fraternal organization.
Great fraternal organization. Well, there's nothing like being in the bond. First and foremost, for those individuals who don't know, you have mentors in every region of the world, right? So I could pick up the phone and call someone in Chicago. I could call someone in the Bahamas, and I will get just as much feedback and energy from that individual. And I have never met them in one day.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So we do a lot of work for the Kappa Leaguers. We try to give them as much education and scholarships so they have the ability to, you know, move on to the next level.
Yep.
We help them with their public speaking. We help them with their financial literacy. We help them with their socialization. We just help each of those individuals move forward and to aspire to be a great individual and achieve at the highest level.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the fraternity. I was actually in Nassau a few years ago, and I had a whole group of noops, group of mega men that just came out and fellowship with us, and it was like I had been knowing everybody my entire life, right? And I still stay in touch with all those guys to this very day. I want to ask you though, if you have a young person right now in college that's considering getting into wealth management, financial services, what advice would you give them?
Yes, this is a very good question. So you want to have a good natural market, right? For what I mean by a good natural market is get your parents and your family involved in their individuals, because those are the people that are going to help you initially, all right? And then you have to network and develop infrastructure, a center of influence.
Yep.
So you need a great center of influence first and foremost, because one of the things that do happen to us, even though we aspire to be in this industry, we get in, but we can't stay in, okay? And that's unfortunate. So you want to prepare yourself in that aspect first, and then be prepared to work 7 days a week, 20 plus hours a day, okay, 4 hours of sleep, and be tenacious. There's going to be plenty of no's. There's going to be plenty of maybes. You just keep moving with that tenacity and the zeal, and opportunities will show up. Just stay in the business and be ethical. All right. Be a fiduciary in your process. And be just be yourself at that particular time, and study. Study.
But now you have a number of certifications, that shows your commitment to continuing education, being a habitual learner, right? So why was it so important to you to pursue all of the additional education and certifications?
It's very important, because I didn't come from a financial family. I didn't come from a financial background. I did study, accounting and finance.
Yeah.
But it's important to always strive for greatness.
Yeah.
And for me, it keeps me above the competition or at the competition.
Right.
And when I walk through the door, opposed to someone else walking through the door, those credentials actually help me just be on an even playing field.
Right.
So if I'm just a financial advisor and someone else is a financial advisor, they automatically have the edge. So I have to bring myself up to their level.
Right.
And with that being said, I have my CRPC advanced designation, which means I'm a chartered retirement planning counselor, which makes me proficient in retirement planning.
Yeah.
Just recently on July 15th, 2022, I just passed the national exam to be the certified financial planner. Now this is the gold standard, man. This is the top of the food chain right here. So I just passed that exam to have the certified financial planner designation behind my name as well, which is a big deal. Because
Absolutely.
there's only 1,600 of us nationwide.
Right. And what percentage of that is African American?
Well, there's 92,000 nationwide, and of those, 1,600 are African American.
I'm with
so
you
I
now.
would say 1.8%
Wow.
would be African American.
Right. And so, when in business, we all face some challenges on our journey. What has been or have been the most significant challenge or challenges that you faced in the journey to be where you are now?
Well, there's a lot of competition, right? So it seems that everyone has a Series 7 or a Series 66 and is a financial advisor, or someone's uncle or aunt is a financial advisor. So when I come around, they could say I work with a family member, or I spoke to 5 of you guys already, right?
Right.
So just to differentiate yourself and just to get through the doors, first criteria that's challenging for me, right?
Right.
But once you get through the door, you have to gain that individual's trust, right? So I usually ask for 10%, and I'll earn the other 90% of their trust at that particular time. And once you have that, then it's the challenges are just making sure you maintain the relationship. This is a relationship business,
Absolutely,
right? So you just maintain the relationship, and as one great financial advisor told me when I first started, just stay in the business, man. Just stay in the business, you'll be fine.
So, of course, the name of this show is Self-Made. And so I want to ask you, in your own words, your own opinion, what do you think it means to be self-made?
Well, self-made to me, I would say, is the ability to reroute yourself or pick yourself up the floor, get up as many times as you need to get to the level that you want to get to.
Yeah.
All right? And never taking no, never retreating, and having the commitment every day to build what you see and vision in yourself.
Right.
Okay? For me, I don't know if it's ever going to stop. I just have this fire. I just have to keep going.
Right.
I don't know what the next challenges are for me, but I know it's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Stan, I want to ask you briefly, and getting ready to wrap the show up, what would you like for your legacy to be?
I would like for people to know me, Stan Leconte, as someone very honest, someone who was a straight shooter, very professional, loving, father, husband, boyfriend, son to those individuals, and they gave back to the community with his passion, wealth management, financial literacy, which is probably going to be my biggest legacy. Leaving that behind is the financial literacy piece that I have going on right now.
Right. And so in about 30 seconds, tell me what's next. What's on the horizon for you?
What's next for me? Well, going on tour. going on a financial literacy tour with about 32 schools. We're giving out 20,000 tablets. We're going to talk about financial literacy. We're going to talk about Money Lit. And that's going to be exciting for me. Also, we have a new recruiting class. So 2021 was a great recruiting class of new NFL kids. We got a new recruiting class coming in, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And you know, just being a value to everyone out there, man. That's all I want to be, a value.
Well, you're doing a good job, man, and I'm proud to know you. Proud to call you my fraternity brother.
Absolutely.
And you're doing things that are going to make a difference in our communities and help change the trajectory of lives. Because, as we all know, it's one thing to earn money, and it's something totally different to keep it and grow it and pass it on for generation and generation to come. So thanks so much for being on the show. I appreciate your time and
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. To my viewers, thank you for watching this episode of Self-Made with Dee Brown, CEO. And remember, without you, there's no me.